The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. Introduction. Have you ever heard of a cleaning method so powerful that it leads people to quit their jobs, to end relationships that no longer serve them, to finally lose those stubborn 10 pounds they've been carrying for years? It sounds impossible, doesn't it? We think of tidying as a chore. A boring, endless, thankless task. Something you do on a Sunday afternoon, only to find your space is a mess again by Wednesday. It's a cycle of temporary fixes. A constant battle against clutter that we never seem to win. But what if I told you that this cycle is not your fault? What if the reason we fail is that we've never actually been taught how to tidy? Imagine for a moment a young girl in Japan, just 5 years old. While other kids are playing outside, she is indoors, devouring home and lifestyle magazines. She isn't just looking at the pictures, she is studying. She tries every cleaning tip, every storage hack, every piece of advice she can find. By the time she is a teenager, her obsession has become a serious, all-consuming study. She spends more than 80% of her life dedicated to a single question: how do you put a space in order once, so that it stays that way forever? That young girl was Marie Kondo. And the answer she discovered would go on to sell millions of copies around the world, be translated into dozens of languages, and start a global movement. Her book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, presents a philosophy that is so simple, yet so profound, that it has transformed the lives of millions. And that is the promise of our journey today. Over the next half hour, you are going to learn more than just how to organize your sock drawer. You are going to learn a method for clarifying what is truly important in your life. This isn't about cleaning your room. It's about resetting your entire existence. By the time we are done, you will understand the secret to creating a life surrounded only by the things and the people that bring you true joy. Book summary. So, where do we begin? Well, let's start by looking at why every other method of tidying you've ever tried has failed. We've all been there. You get a sudden burst of motivation. You spend an entire weekend cleaning, sorting, and organizing. Your room looks perfect. For a day. Maybe 2. Then, slowly, entropy creeps back in. A shirt left on a chair. A book that doesn't get put back on the shelf. Before you know it, you're right back where you started. Marie Kondo calls this the rebound effect. And she says it happens because we've been fed a series of lies about tidying. The first lie is the idea that you should tidy a little a day. It sounds reasonable, doesn't it? Slow and steady wins the race. But Kondo argues this is a fatal trap. When you only do a little at a time, you never experience a dramatic, profound change. The results are so minor that you can't feel the impact. And because you can't feel the impact, your mindset never shifts. You clean, it gets messy, you clean again. You are sentenced to a lifetime of tidying. The second lie is that you should organize room by room. Today, I'll tackle the bedroom. Tomorrow, the living room. This, Kondo says, is another recipe for failure. Why? Because we almost never store all items of the same type in one place. You might have books in your bedroom, but also on the coffee table in the living room, and maybe a few cookbooks in the kitchen. If you tidy by location, you are simply shuffling the same items around, never truly grasping the full volume of what you own. You're stuck in a vicious circle, repeating the same work over and over again. The truth, Kondo discovered, is that real, lasting tidiness can only be achieved in one way. You must do it all at once, in one marathon session. She calls it a special tidying festival. It's not a daily chore, it's a once-in-a-lifetime event. An event that resets your home, and by extension, your life. The change must be so sudden, so dramatic, that it fundamentally changes your way of thinking. You experience what it feels like to live in a perfectly ordered space, and that feeling is so powerful, so right, that you will never want to go back to clutter again. This grand tidying festival has only two parts. Just two essential actions. The first is discarding. The second is deciding where to store things. And the order is non-negotiable. You must finish discarding first, completely, before you even begin to think about where to put anything. This is where most people go wrong. They start sorting a drawer, find something they want to keep, and immediately start thinking, where should this go? Their mind switches from discarding to organizing, and the momentum dies. The work of letting go comes to a screeching halt. So, before we even touch a single possession, we must start with our mindset. The very first step in the KonMari method has nothing to do with your stuff. It has to do with your imagination. You must visualize your destination. Why do you want to tidy? What kind of life do you want to live once your home is in order? Don't just say, I want to be less cluttered. That's too vague. Get specific. Incredibly specific. Kondo tells the story of a client who said she wanted a more feminine lifestyle. When asked what that meant, the client described coming home from work to a room as tidy as a hotel suite. She pictured a pink bedspread, an antique lamp, and a clutter-free floor. She imagined herself doing yoga, listening to classical music, and drinking herbal tea before bed. That level of detail is the goal. You are creating the blueprint for your future life. This vision becomes your North Star. It's the motivation that will carry you through the entire process, because you're not just cleaning up, you're building the life you've always dreamed of. Once you have that crystal clear vision, and only then, are you ready to face your possessions. But how do you decide what to discard? Most of us use logic. Have I used this in the last year? Is it broken? Is it out of style? These criteria are flawed, Kondo says, because they focus on the past and on fear. They are logical, but they are joyless. At 15, after years of research, Kondo was a master of discarding. She became what she calls a disposal unit, constantly looking for things to throw away. She tried every rule in the book. But no matter how much she discarded, her room never felt tidy. She grew irritable and tense, unable to relax even in her own space. One day, in complete despair, she collapsed in the middle of her room and had a nervous breakdown. I don't want to tidy anymore, she cried. And in that moment of surrender, she heard a voice in her head. Look more closely at what is there. She had been so focused on what to throw away, on attacking the things she didn't want, that she had forgotten the entire point. And in that moment of revelation, she discovered the single, most important principle of her method. The only criterion you should ever use to decide what to keep. She realized we should not be choosing what we want to get rid of. We should be choosing what we want to keep. And the way to do that is to take each item into your own two hands, hold it, and ask yourself one simple question. Does this spark joy? That's it. That is the entire standard. Not is it useful, not what if I need it someday, but a deep, intuitive, physical response. If an item gives you a thrill of happiness when you touch it, you keep it. If it doesn't, you thank it for its service, and you let it go. This might sound vague, but Kondo insists that your body knows. When you touch something that sparks joy, you feel a little lift. Your energy rises. It feels right. When you touch something that doesn't, you feel a little heavier. It feels dull. The trick is to trust that feeling. This is the most crucial mind shift. You are transforming tidying from a negative task of elimination into a positive act of curation. You are creating an environment filled only with things that speak to your heart. Now, with this new question as our guide, we are ready to begin the tidying festival. And we will do it by category, not by location. Kondo has a very specific order, designed to hone your joy-sensing skills. You start with the easiest category and move to the hardest. The order is: clothes first, then books, then papers, then kimono, which is a Japanese word for miscellaneous items, and finally, the last category of all, sentimental items. Let's begin the journey. Category 1. Clothes. Clothes are the easiest category to start with because they have a low rarity value and are less emotionally charged than, say, old photographs. The first step is to gather every single piece of clothing you own from every closet, every drawer, every corner of your house, and put it all in one giant pile on the floor. The sight of this mountain is usually the first shock of the process. Most people have at least twice as many clothes as they imagine. The average is around 160 tops alone. Now, you pick up each item, one by one, and ask the question, does this spark joy? Don't just look at it. You have to touch it. Feel the fabric. Your body will react. If it sparks joy, it goes in the keep pile. If it doesn't, it goes in the discard pile. As you do this, you will encounter a very common temptation. You'll pick up a perfectly good sweater, one that doesn't spark joy, and you'll think, well, I don't love it, but I can just wear it around the house. This, Kondo declares, is absolutely taboo. The act of downgrading to loungewear is one of the biggest traps in tidying. Why? Because your time at home is a precious part of your life. It's the time you are supposed to be relaxing and recharging. Why would you surround yourself with clothes you don't love during that sacred time? The real waste, she says, is not in discarding clothes you don't like, but in wearing them. Precisely because no one sees you, you should wear things that make you feel good and reinforce a positive self-image. Once you've made your selections, you'll likely be left with only a third or even a quarter of what you started with. Now it's time to store them. Kondo's key principle for storage is folding. She is a passionate advocate for folding almost everything. Why? Because you can fit 20 to 40 folded items in the space it takes to hang 10. But it's about more than just space. The act of folding, she believes, is a way of transmitting energy into your clothes. It's an act of caring, of appreciating them for the role they play in your life. And the goal is to store everything vertically, like files in a filing cabinet. When you open a drawer, you should see the edge of every single item, like the spines of books on a shelf. This way, nothing gets lost at the bottom of a pile, crushed and forgotten. Even your socks deserve this respect. Kondo is horrified by the common practice of balling up socks or tying stockings in a knot. She says this keeps them in a constant state of tension, never allowing them to rest. Instead, she teaches a simple method of folding them into neat little rectangles, allowing them to relax in your drawer, ready and happy to serve you the next day. Category 2. Books. After clothes, we move on to books. The process is the same. You must take every single book off every shelf and put them all on the floor. Seeing them all in one place is essential. Again, you take each book in your hand and ask if it sparks joy. But there's a critical rule here. Do not start reading it. The moment you start reading, your judgment gets clouded. You start thinking logically, this seems interesting, or I should finish this. The question is not whether the information is useful. The question is whether the book itself, as an object in your life, sparks joy. The biggest challenge with books is the ones you haven't read. The ones you bought intending to read sometime. Kondo has a blunt but powerful piece of advice for this. Sometime means never. If you haven't read a book by now, you probably never will. Its purpose, she suggests, may have been fulfilled the moment you bought it. It gave you the thrill of anticipating new knowledge. Or perhaps its purpose was to teach you that you didn't actually need it. Let it go. The timing for a book is crucial. The moment you first encounter it is the right time to read it. If that moment is past, free up the space for the books that are calling to you right now. For the books you have read, their true purpose has been fulfilled. The information is already inside you, even if you don't remember every detail. The only books that deserve a permanent place on your shelf are the ones that are in your personal Hall of Fame, the ones you love so much that you are happy just seeing their spine. Your bookshelf should be a curated collection of your most treasured friends. Category 3. Papers. Next up is papers. This is often the most dreaded category. Kondo's rule here is shocking in its simplicity. As a rule of thumb, discard everything. She argues that papers, unlike clothes or books, will never spark joy. They are simply a source of stress and annoyance. So, her approach is ruthless. She says there are only 3 categories of papers worth keeping. 1. Papers that are currently in use, like a bill you need to pay this week. 2. Papers that are needed for a limited period of time, like a warranty for a new appliance. 3. Papers that must be kept indefinitely, like contracts, leases, or birth certificates. Everything else goes. Lecture notes from a seminar you took 3 years ago? If you haven't put the knowledge into practice by now, you never will. The real value was in the live experience, not the handout. Old credit card statements? Once you've checked them, their job is done. Get rid of them. Manuals for your electronics? You can find everything you need online, and it's much faster than searching through a booklet. For the very few papers you do need to keep, the filing system is incredibly simple. You need only one vertical file or inbox for papers that need your attention. The goal for this box is to always be empty. For the papers you must save, like contracts, just put them all together in a single clear plastic folder. No complex categories needed. The odds of you needing them are so low that it's not worth the effort to subdivide them. Category 4. Kimono miscellaneous items. This is the big catch-all category. It includes everything from CDs and makeup to kitchen gadgets, spare change, and unidentified electrical cords. The sheer variety can feel overwhelming, so Kondo provides a specific suborder, starting with more personal items and moving to more general ones. The guiding principle for kimono is to finally stop keeping things just because. We all have that junk drawer filled with random objects, loose change, spare buttons, dead batteries, old keychains. Kondo forces you to confront each of these items and ask if they truly spark joy. She has some very direct advice for common kimono culprits. Gifts you never use? The true purpose of a gift is to be received. It is a physical symbol of someone's feelings for you. Once you have received it and felt the joy of that moment, the gift has fulfilled its purpose. You don't need to feel guilty for letting the object go. Thank it for the happiness it brought you and pass it on. Cosmetic samples you're saving for a trip? They often expire within a year. Throw them out and use your favorite products when you travel. Spare buttons? You will never use them. By the time a button falls off, the garment has likely reached the end of its life anyway. Unidentified electrical cords? If you don't know what it's for now, you never will. A mysterious cord will always remain a mystery. Get rid of it. And what about that little pile of loose change scattered around the house? Your new motto is simple: into my wallet. Don't put it in a piggy bank where it will be forgotten. Money's purpose is to be used. Put it back into circulation immediately. Category 5. Sentimental items. Finally, we arrive at the last and most difficult category of all. Old photographs, letters from friends, keepsakes from your childhood, mementos from past relationships. We leave these for last because by now, after sorting through every other category, your ability to sense what sparks joy is finely tuned. The fear with sentimental items is that if we discard the object, we will lose the memory. But Kondo assures us this is not true. Truly precious memories will never vanish. The objects are just triggers. We live in the present, not the past. The joy and excitement we feel right now are what truly matter. So you must go through the process. Take out all your old photos from their albums and look at each one by one. Keep only the ones that give you a genuine thrill of joy. You will find that you don't need 100 photos of a vacation. The 5 best ones will bring back all the feelings more vividly. You must confront the things you've left at your parents' house. Your childhood bedroom is not a time capsule or a free storage unit. By dealing with these items, you are not erasing your past, you are processing it. You are acknowledging the person you were, thanking those experiences for shaping you, and making space for the person you are becoming. The lesson of sentimental items is this: it is not our memories that we should be cherishing. It is the person we have become because of those past experiences. Our living space should be for the person we are now, and the person we want to be in the future. After this great festival of discarding is complete, you are left only with the things you truly love. And now, the second and final act of tidying begins, deciding where everything lives. Kondo's philosophy on storage is, once again, about ultimate simplicity. There are only 2 rules. First, store all items of the same type in the same place. Second, don't scatter your storage spaces. The goal is to designate a specific home for every single thing you own. Every item must have a place where it belongs. When an item has no home, it becomes a wanderer, the first seed of new clutter. You don't need fancy, complicated storage systems. In fact, Kondo argues they often make things worse. Her most used storage tool is the humble shoebox. It's the perfect size for dividing drawers, it's free, and it's surprisingly durable. The goal is to create a system so simple that you can see at a glance what you have. And in this final stage, Kondo introduces a layer of philosophy that feels deeply personal and almost spiritual. She believes that our possessions are not just inanimate objects. They are our supporters. They work hard for us every day. And they deserve our respect and appreciation. She suggests you greet your house when you come home. You thank your clothes for keeping you warm as you hang them up. You empty your handbag every single day, not just to stay organized, but to give it a rest after its hard work of carrying your things. This practice, she says, changes your relationship with your belongings. When you treat them with care, they seem to respond in kind. They last longer. They feel more vibrant. You are no longer just a consumer of things, you are a caretaker of a team of loyal supporters. And this leads us to the true magic of the title. Putting your house in order is not the end goal. It is the beginning. Tidying is just a tool, not the final destination. The true goal is to discover what you are passionate about. Kondo has found, time and again, that when her clients finish tidying, their lives transform in unexpected ways. By sorting through their possessions, they are forced to confront themselves. They see the evidence of their past choices, their forgotten dreams, their true values. One client, after sorting her books, realized all the ones that sparked joy were related to social welfare, a passion she'd had since she was young but had forgotten. She quit her corporate job and started a childcare company. Another client found that after discarding hundreds of business cards, the people she actually wanted to meet started contacting her out of the blue. When you reduce your possessions to only those that spark joy, a powerful shift happens. Your worldly desires seem to decrease. You stop buying things on impulse because you are already content. You gain immense confidence in your ability to make decisions because you have practiced doing so thousands of times with your own belongings. You learn to let go of 2 things that hold us all back: an attachment to the past and a fear of the future. Your possessions are a physical manifestation of these anxieties. By letting go of the objects, you let go of the mental baggage too. And what you are left with is clarity. Clarity about who you are, what you love, and what you want to do with your life. Tidying is a dialogue with yourself. It is a one-time event that resets your life so you can finally begin living. Life, Marie Kondo says, truly begins after you have put your house in order. Commentary. When you really stop and think about it, the genius of Marie Kondo's method is that it's not about tidying at all. It's a mindfulness practice disguised as a cleaning system. In a world that constantly tells us to want more, to accumulate more, to be more, her message is a radical act of rebellion. It asks us to look inward, not outward, for happiness and contentment. The question, does it spark joy, is so powerful because it bypasses the logical, anxious part of our brain and speaks directly to our intuition. It's a compass that points us toward what we truly value. We spend so much of our lives making decisions based on shoulds and supposed toes. We keep clothes because we spent money on them. We keep books because we think we should read them. We stay in jobs or relationships out of fear or obligation. Kondo's method trains us, in the safe and simple context of our own belongings, to listen to that inner voice. To trust our own feelings. And that skill, once honed, extends far beyond the walls of our home. It changes how we spend our time, our money, and our energy. It redefines our relationship with consumer culture. Suddenly, you don't just see a shirt on a rack, you see a potential relationship. Is this something I want to welcome into my life? Is this something I am prepared to care for? For a young person standing at the threshold of life, this lesson is invaluable. You are in the process of building your world, your career, your relationships, your home. What if you built it, from the very beginning, on a foundation of joy? What if you decided, right now, that you will only allow things into your life that make your heart sing? If you're feeling inspired by this today, I want to offer you a very simple first step. Don't try to tidy your whole house tomorrow. That's overwhelming. Instead, just pick one small, manageable subcategory. Let's say, your t-shirts. Follow the method just for them. Gather every single t-shirt you own and pile them on your bed. Then, one by one, pick them up, hold them in your hands, and ask the question. Feel the answer. Don't judge it, just feel it. See what you're left with. Then, fold them with care and put them back. Just experience that one small cycle. That little taste of the magic is often enough to show you how powerful this process can be. This book is about more than a tidy home. It's about a tidy mind. It's about the profound peace that comes from knowing you are surrounded only by things that you love, and the incredible freedom that comes from letting go of everything else. It's an invitation to curate your life with intention, with purpose, and with joy. That was a summary of the life-changing magic of tidying up by Marie Kondo. We've certainly covered the main ideas today, but I'll be honest with you, a summary can only ever be a map. It can show you the path, but it can't give you the feeling of walking it yourself. The real magic happens when you read the book. It's in the quiet moments, when a particular story or a simple phrase hits you in a way you didn't expect. This summary is designed to help you decide if this journey is one you want to take. If anything we've talked about today has sparked something in you, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning, it's an experience that can genuinely change the way you see yourself and the world you've built around you. Also, if you found this summary valuable and want to continue exploring the ideas within the world's most influential books, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It lets me know that these journeys are helpful to you, and ensures you won't miss our next deep dive into another life-changing book. Let's keep growing together.